And you know, us sports moms have something to say.
Yes, we do.
We'll have a chance to interview across the board, from athletes to the parents to the coaches to even the trainers.
And we're not afraid to share our journey. We're not afraid to tell other moms what we went through in order to raise up a student athlete. So I believe that it's inspirational.
We able to tell our story, the good and the bad.
We can give back positive information.
Absolutely.
You know, we can empower them.
Yes, I think it's time for the mothers to be a voice.
Yes.
That's it.
It's time for us to let you know what's going on. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Shannon at Can We Talk Sports. I am here with my host,
Karen.
and all right, what's up, everybody? Kawasaka, man, I missed you a few nights ago on the show.
I miss you too.
But see, listen, y'all, Kawasaka out there, she getting in shape. She pushing the business, NutriBurst, total life changes. Okay, so listen, I kind of been bad. I know she's probably like, Shannon, where you been? Because see, I've signed up for it and working it, and this last week I just kind of had to take a week off, had some things going. But listen, Kawasaka has been holding it down strong.
I gotta hold it down for my team.
She been the All-American team. What?
Let's go.
Let's go. Karen, where you
Let's
at?
go.
I've been working on my feet. You know, I've been going to the doctor therapy for my plantar fasciitis. I know I'm probably not saying it right. But
Shit, what did you say? Wait, what did you say it is?
Plantar fasciitis.
Okay.
One of them names. So I've been going to the doctor for that. And so I've been, you know, it's just uncomfortable, you know, and so I'm just trying to get it back healthy before I get out there and come and train with y'all.
Right.
Okay. All right. So the news is, I don't know how true, I'm going to research and find out, but my husband came to me. He was like, did you hear? I guess he heard it on ESPN, that sports will resume as of June 17th.
No, I didn't hear that.
He said he heard it on the news. So wait, that's my birthday and anniversary.
Oh, wow. You got married on your anniversary? I mean,
on my birthday. Yeah.
Wow, you had double.
That's awesome.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, number 17.
Double gifts, baby. Double.
Okay, well, I saw an article today about, you know, the XFL being in bankruptcy and saying that the owner might have put it in there so he can get it out for pennies. I think we need to start a GoFundMe in order to save the XFL.
You know what? That's true. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the XFL for a lot of guys was a second chance. You know what I'm saying? And it was that opportunity to get their foot back in the door. And for some of them, they didn't worry about going to the NFL, but just to play again. And actually, it was good. I mean, them jokers was hitting, right? Like I was like, oh, they hitting like that? They playing like that? So, you know, they need to figure something out. They shouldn't let that fall to the side. That's real talk right there. So but all right. So Kawasaka, how's your son doing?
Which one?
In college, Colorado. Is he ready?
Yeah. Man, y'all watch my story. I literally was watching him the workout. Like his work ethic is just up here. And so you know what? I got a little challenge, a little sneaky little. He don't know on the down low. Like I'm gonna catch up with him.
So we putting out the Kawasaka says she gonna catch up with her son. I'm gonna catch up with him.
But
that's 21 and you 42.
Right. I ain't even gonna try to catch up with Jordan. Y'all, that ain't even gonna happen. I ain't even gonna listen. He was working some boys today, and I was like, Lord, don't let this boy kill these boys. Oh my God, he was putting them to the work. I probably would have looked at him like, are you serious? Like, you got to be kidding. You think I'm gonna do all of that?
Right.
But the boys was holding it down this morning. I'll tell you what.
That's crazy because they are, when I say they work out, work ethic is off the chain. Like, I mean, they set the bar high. Like, you gotta go get it and come back with it. Like,
It's a
whoa,
determination, you know what I'm saying? Because
right,
it's anybody's game right now, right?
absolutely.
Because they haven't been to camp. Some of them are just now getting up off the couch, just tell the truth. And then there's some that's been working all during this whole time. So now if things are officially opening up June 17th, you got to prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right,
you got to
right.
prove yourself. So I also want to say congratulations to Irisha's son, Jordan,
Oh yeah, he graduated.
graduating.
Graduated.
Yes, congratulations. Look, I seen him grinding. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was a post that's like right after graduation, he was back out on the field running routes. So that's what I'm talking
Exactly.
about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, for real. And I believe that's my son is his mentor, one of his mentors. He mentioned that one time, and I said,
Oh
"Oh wow,
wow.
this is a small world. This is
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is a small world. How we connect like that, you know." But
Yeah.
yeah, so and then congratulations, because my son graduated in 3 years.
Oh
Three
yeah, that's
years.
Oh
right.
Oh
wow.
my God, yes. He's gonna
Yeah.
go back for football, but he graduated in 3 years, guys.
Congratulations to our
Baby,
Woo! Pat
baby.
yourself on the back, girl. What? Get that little mama pat.
Yes.
Like,
He
thank you.
was playing. I was like, oh my God. Oh
Wow.
my God.
They're
That's
out there
he
doing
set the
it.
bar. He set the bar.
He set
Yeah.
the bar high for his siblings behind him.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did.
So this is good. All right, so let's move along. We have our special guest coming. I want to call him Coach Lewis, and he has a powerful story, a phenomenal story, a phenomenal journey. And we got to meet his wife in the green room, so she's a little spunky on fire. So I can't wait till we start working with her. She's gonna come on, and we're gonna talk to the coaches' wives. Ooh, that's gonna be a show. Talk to the
Yes.
That's
coaches'
gonna be a,
wives.
that's gonna be a
Oh, they're
show.
gonna tell it. You know they're gonna tell everything, right?
Right.
Right.
They gonna get us fans in check.
Right.
Right.
I
They're gonna
never
tell.
thought
They're gonna
about that. The coaches' wives.
right because you're always doing
Hmm.
interviews with the husbands, right? Or you,
Right.
Right.
but you never really talk to the wives of what they go through because they have to share their husband. They're
Yeah.
gone or they're traveling, and then they're
Yeah.
always either having some of the guys over, or if the coach girls or whatever. So we
They
don't never
holding
get
it down.
right. We
Right.
don't, and if they have kids, they have to take care of their kid. Take care of the kids while the husband's gone. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
never. And if he comes home after he done lost the game,
Mm. I
Yeah.
can imagine.
She
it's
has to
it's
be the
it's like
encourager.
right. And then we have female coaches, so eventually, hopefully, one day we'll talk to the coaches' husbands.
Right. There
Yeah.
you go.
Hey, we talking to everybody.
Talk to everybody. If we
Everybody.
could, we talk to the dog and the cat. No, I'm playing. I'm not. So anyway, right after this, we will have Coach Lewis come to the show.
All
He's
right.
talking about you. He's talking about you.
Roll your hips. Right there. There's the drill. Right there. Here we go. Bend, bend, bend. Right. Pull down. Don't pull him on top of you. Like lock it down. Hey, there it is. That's why we're doing the drill. Jay, first you went here. All right. Leave that foot there. Put weight on it. Step. Bend. All right. See right there? You almost did it again. Don't pull this way. I'm yanking it down and knocking it. It's going to knock your stride off. It's going to knock him off. Let's go. Let's go. Repeat that. Here we go. Right there. There it is. Right there. I want to pull him on me. All right. I want to pull him down and go. So it ought to look like this. It ought to be here, here, and I'm off. All right. Punch. You're just turning. You got to punch him. Let's get it right. Right there. There we go. Right there you go. There you go. Don't give him a chance to chew the hands right away to grab something. Get him out of there. Here we go. Flatten. There we go. Right there it is. Right there. Move now. What am I gonna say? Get low. Come on, man. Let's go. That's that route. He goes in, singing that hole, right? He goes to 1, 2, right? He's gonna match the 2. Now you gotta sit there in case they throw that vertical, right? There you go, Stan. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Here we go.
Hey, Coach Lewis, what'd you say? You got a punch.
Got a punch. You got to get off of them. How y'all doing tonight?
Hey,
I know everybody trying to figure out what in the world was that about. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Me being able to pronounce his name.
Yes.
Osei. Well, I'm going to go with Coach Lewis.
All right.
All right,
Osei.
Coach.
That's easy. Osei.
Yeah.
Osei. Yes.
I'm the third.
Ooh.
Oh, you're the third. Oh, okay.
There go that number 3 again.
3 is in the place. What?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Coach, I'm telling you, read your bio, phenomenal, and your journey is seen. It's pretty powerful of a journey. I actually, when I was watching a video, I really like how you were working with them and encouraging them, and just you seem so very passionate about what you were doing and coaching. So, can we start with just how your journey began?
Well, I started with football, family-wise. I come from a big family. My family's from East Texas originally, and we moved from Tyler and Houston to we wound up in Tucson. So I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and I have 5 brothers and 5 sisters. So there's 11 of us. And my older brother, who's since passed, he was an All-American football player. And went to inside at USC, and then every one of us played football, and every one of us went to college. I went to Oregon State, played at Oregon State. After Oregon State, I played in the CFL briefly, and then I played arena football, which right now is in different forms in different places now. But I played in the original Arena Football League, and then after that, I decided I wanted to get into coaching, because I wanted to be able to impact. I wanted to stay in the game. I found that, as I grew as a person, I wanted to impact young lives of young men, and especially men of color. I wanted to be a guy and be a role model. So I got into coaching. And coaching obviously doesn't make you rich, but it was something that fulfilled me.
Wow.
Wow, that's good. Okay, so you went to you played arena football. How many years did you do that?
4 years. I played 4 years from 88, 90. I played from 87 to 90. I was with the Chicago team, and then my last year I was with the New York team.
Okay, and then you went CFL after that?
No, I went CFL first.
And how many years did you do CFL?
8 months. I was up there with the team, something like that. And then I got hurt and came down here, and then I got a chance, and then I got the opportunity in the Arena Football League. That's a whole nother story about a 2 hour. You guys don't know how much time you guys have. How I wound up there, but
I didn't realize arena football had started back then. I was like 3 years out of high school, so I didn't even realize.
Oh man! Now you're making me feel old. So you're 3 years out of high school.
Yeah, arena football is it's a little different though, right?
Back then you played both ways. It's indoors. It's on a 50-yard. They called it the 50-yard indoor war. We played right when it started, so we didn't make any money. And it was in the spring and summer, and so I was able to do it and be a graduate assistant at the same time in the fall for regular football season. So that's how I got into coaching, and I got into coaching, and I was at Oregon. I've been you get into coaching, you kind of get on this carousel of if you want to stay in college coaching, or even high school now, you're going to have to move a few times. And so we kind of got on a carousel, and my first job was a graduate assistant at Oregon State. And then from there, after I was a grad assistant, I became a full-time coach at Western Oregon State in Monmouth, which is 30 miles north of Oregon State. And I was there for 2 years. And then I went back to Oregon State after 2 years as a full-time coach. And I was there for 6 years. And that's my alma mater. That's where I played. Not to be bragging, but I was an All-American linebacker there when I played there.
Hey, it's all right.
And then I was at Oregon State for 6 years. And while I was at Western Oregon, I married my wife. And then we went back. And so now she was gracious enough to jump on the carousel with me. We jumped. And so we went from Western Oregon back to Oregon State, and then we were there for 6 years, and then we got asked to leave Oregon State because in college football, as a college football coach, you either win, or if you don't win, eventually they're going to ask you to leave.
Right.
So as good as a player as I was at Oregon State, they still asked me to leave. They said your services are no longer needed here, and so we went from Oregon State to the University of Illinois, and we were there for 6 years, and it was a great experience for us, for our family, and then me as a coach, because we went from 0-11 to Big Ten champions, playing in we played LSU in the Sugar Bowl, and we built a program with a bunch of kids from the state of Illinois. And then after Illinois, I left to become the defensive coordinator at the University of New Mexico, and so we moved again. And I was a coordinator there for 5 years. I had some success, and then I was lured to the University of Texas El Paso as the defensive coordinator for 2 years. So that's how many moves is that?
I think I lost after the first two. I'm sorry.
A lot, but you forgot one position. That was San Diego State.
Oh, I'm getting there. I'm still not there yet. So then we were at UTEP for 2 years, and that we got asked to leave there. And then I coached a year in this league that started up, the UFL. I know you guys have heard the XFL.
Yeah, I heard of the UFL.
And I was a defense. I went to Hartford, Connecticut as the defensive coordinator of a team in the UFL, but my family stayed in Texas. They stayed in El Paso. My kids finished, because my wife and I always said, my wife, Darlene Lewis, we've always said, hey, when they got to high school, if I had to leave or something or had to move, I would move. And we wouldn't uproot the kids in the middle of high school. So we didn't do that. So I spent a year at Hartford, and after a year at Hartford, I went to San Diego State. I was at San Diego State as a D-line coach for 5 years. With the head coach and I had worked together way back at Oregon State when he was the defensive coordinator. So now, and then I had worked for him at New Mexico when he was the head coach. And now I work for him at San Diego State. So we were there for 5 years. We won 3 conference titles. We played in the bowl every year. And I should have mentioned that along the way. I've played in 14 bowl games as a coach.
Wow.
And so at San Diego State, I grew, like I told you, I grew up in Arizona. So growing up in Arizona, I ran into, in my later college days, I ran into a young guy, Derek Mason. And so we used to hang out, we used to talk to each other. And then he went to college at NAU. I'm 7 years older than him. And then he got into coaching. So I'd see him, we'd say, hey, what's it? We'd hang out and stuff. When we get home in Arizona, I'd be up in Phoenix. He's from Phoenix, and I'm from Tucson, but I'd be up in Phoenix and I'd see him and we go hang out. Well, he became the head coach here at Vanderbilt.
Wow.
And he hired me talked to me and said, hey, I want you to come to Vanderbilt and help me build this thing. And so After the 2015 season, I came here to Vanderbilt, and so that's 8 moves. So this is our 8th place we've been, or 8th move we've had. I think I've been to 9 different schools.
Oh, wow.
That's like military.
Yeah, exactly like military. I got friends, I got family in the military. They say, man, you move more than I do.
Wow.
Hey, I got my announcement, my surprise. Sergio Phillips from DeSoto.
Serge! Where's Serge?
Yes, I am DeSoto's favorite fan. So I text Sergio. I said, Sergio, guess what? I got your coach coming on the show.
That's my guy.
He was like, that's like my dad. He's like a father to me.
That's what I say. I love him. I love Serge.
Oh man, I did a documentary called Path to the Draft 7 DeSoto U players, and Sergio is one of the players from my community. So I'm gonna reach out to you to give me an interview to go in his documentary.
Oh, no problem. Hey, I love Sergio. Sergio came to me. He was a young cat. We couldn't figure out if we want him on offense or defense, and I finally said, "Hey, I take him." And as you guys saw on the tape, I care about my players, and I tell them, "Hey, I love you so much. I'm not gonna let you get away with that." So I tell them, "Hey, look, I'm gonna treat you just like you mine."
I like that. And
I don't let mine act a fool. I don't let mine do certain things. So when you do those things, I'm gonna discipline you. I'm gonna talk to you like you don't like to be talked to. I just have certain things with kids, and the deal I always tell them, hey, I love you, but I cannot sit here as a coach and say, hey, I'm gonna use you for 4 years, and then I'm gonna get mine as a coach because I'm gonna get paid, and then I have to sit here at home and wonder what Sergio can he handle himself out there by himself if somebody do this to him. Part of my job as a coach, and I always tell moms this and parents this when I was recruiting them. Hey, when you send them to me, you send them to me. Okay, I will talk to you all day about academics, their behavior and social life, but I won't ever talk to you. We won't ever talk football. So don't come asking me. I always tell parents, I'm gonna be honest with you because we're gonna have a relationship here, right?
Right.
And part of this relationship, I do the football, and I support you raising them.
Right. That's good. I like that.
Okay. But don't ask me why he's not playing because he knows. Because part of why you send him off to college is to grow up and become a man.
That's right.
All right. And part of being a man is he needs to have a relationship with me of respect, where I respect him and he respects me. So I gotta act so that I get respect, and so does he. And and that's kind of especially I think about Serge, how immature he was when I first got him, and then how mature he was when I left. Because I left 1 year. I left a year before he was done.
Wow.
Right. And I came in. I said, "Hey, man," I balled them together, and I said, "Hey, Serge, I'm leaving." He said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Man, I said, like y'all said, I'm going with my homeboy." I said, "You'll be all right." And he was all right. And we talked. In fact, we were talking. I'm getting old now. I think we were talking last year. I was trying to help him. I was calling. I called NFL teams for him and talked him up, trying to get him in camp somewhere.
Yeah.
What's Serge doing now?
I know he was back here home, but I'm not sure because that's the part I got to get the end of his story because it's more about their path, not necessarily the draft. So I got to get their story as far as what is he doing now. So I got to get that. So I'm still working. I've been doing it for 2 years.
That's great. I'm glad you made my night. One of my guys. See,
that's what we do at Can We Talk Sports. We make your night. We never know who we know, and we never know who you know. So, that's amazing.
Well, I tell people when you get in this coaching deal, and I know you guys talk like you say, parents have a say in this thing. I think that's awesome that you guys are doing that because now you'll get to talk to people like me that I don't mind telling you because I'm at the end of it. I'm 57 years old. I'm about done with this coaching, right? I'm about out the game. But I think I can help people like you. And that's why I came up with football ideas and educate you about the recruiting process.
Yeah.
The process when he's gone and he's calling it home and he's saying, hey, Coach Lewis, he's not treating me right. Well, the other part of that kids don't tell their moms and dads is they're not acting right sometimes.
Okay, that's so true. Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you this because I had 2 kids go to college. They still your kids, and you won't. Because the thing that coaches forget that I tell coaches, you got to remember this when you're dealing with parents. Okay, you guys watched everything. You watched them work out. I heard you talking earlier about your son working out and his work ethic. You watched all that. Okay, so that's what you seen. You saw all the work he did when he was 11, till he's 15, 16, 17. Then he goes off to college, and then he's not playing. And you go, well, he's not playing. He worked his butt off. Well, we're not seeing that. So we then you come at a coach, and the coach comes back at you like, hey, I don't want to deal. Everybody needs to understand where everybody's coming from, and that's where a lot of times where all this transfer is happening, right? Where parents are going, hey, you're not playing. Hey man, you got to get out of there. Well, why aren't you playing? Well, you didn't go to study hall. You were short on your hours for study hall. You missed class, okay? And now coach can't count on you, so coach ain't going to play you, okay? Because I had to come home. I got to pay for all this, I got to pay for all this. And how am I going to pay? I pay for it by making sure Sergio Phillips of the world is in class, is doing right, is acting right on a Saturday night that I can trust him. Okay, so some of that falls on me. I gotta educate him and train him, all right, and support what you've done to that point. Because now he's with me. He's not with you. He's with me all of a sudden more than he is with you.
Right.
So it's really it's an education process as I see it as I go through at the end of my career here. In that, I think you can stop a lot of what's happening with players and parents getting into it or saying, hey, coach is this, is coach. Coach is not, I am not a bad guy. I am not trying to lose football games, okay? And I am not trying. The reason we signed that kid is we think he can help us, okay?
Right.
And I'm trying to get him to do that. He's not doing that right now. Somebody else on this team is doing that, so he's not playing right now, And then I, as a coach, have to look at, why is she or he in here on the phone with me saying I'm treating the son wrong, right? Well, because she watched him work his butt off since he was 10 years old to now, and she knows how hard he worked, and you're ready for him to get paid off, okay? But now he's got to finish it. So it's always a two-way deal. And then you have the situation where everything works out, and that's what most of the time everything works out. But some of the problems I've seen and some of the things that, especially now with recruiting, how recruiting has really taken off and changed, it's because people don't understand where other people are coming from. You say, well, I understand you. Well, you don't understand you don't understand where I got that thought process from. I got my thought processes, a lot of my thought processes from a single mom who raised 11 kids by herself and worked 3 and 4 jobs. That's why I work. That's why I work so hard. Okay.
Wow.
But you wouldn't know that, and that I have no patience for men or anyone that were to hit or abuse, or treat a woman bad.
Right.
So when I lose it, and also a mom that if I use the N-word, I get slapped across the mouth. Right. So to this day, I don't use it.
Wow.
So those are the things that people, I'm really trying to get that message out to people about, and to parents when I get a chance to talk to them. Hey, listen, make sure you understand where they're coming from, and they need to understand where you're coming from. Right. Everybody wants to get along. I want to get along too, but at the same time, I want you to understand where I'm coming from. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to disagree.
So you mean in college, parents come and say, "Why my son not playing?"
Well, wait, hold on. Now because I'm with the different parents. So
Different
yes, I
parents.
see my kids work out, and I've seen my kids bench, especially my daughter. And
Mhm.
I've actually called the coach and I told her thank you. And I
Mhm.
think she got nervous because it was like, "Did you just call me to say thank you?" I was like, "Thank you for benching her. If she wants to play, then she'll figure out how to get off the bench."
Right.
Because I understand, whether they get a little smart, a little relaxed. I'm not gonna say why you're not playing my child. If my child is on the bench, it's because 9 out of 10 is something they did, right?
Right. Mhm.
And if they're on there, then I always tell them you need to figure out how to get off the bench. So like with my older son, one time he did not pass a class, and that was 7th grade. That joker has never been on the bench since 7th grade. Here he's 25 playing professional ball. And then my daughter, she got benched her freshman year because she made varsity at 7th grade. And so I kind of watched her. I didn't know if she was ready to handle playing varsity at 9th grade.
Uh,
And so the energy she gave in 7th and 8th grade, she backed off kind of when she got to 9th grade. And the coach didn't understand why. Well, anyway, she benched her. And so I was like, "Are you playing?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "The coach said I'm not doing this and this." And I said, "Well, you need to figure it out." And so I called the coach and I said, "Thank you." I said, "Because either she's going to step up to the plate or she's going
yep.
to ride the bench." And I'm okay with that. I'm not going to come and tell you off and why my child playing. And that doesn't make sense. It's like, really think about it. And so she figured out how to get off the bench and she started playing. And I was like, and I'm the parent, I'll bench you myself.
Right. And see, you're like an anomaly. You don't happen a lot. Parents like you don't happen a lot. Okay. And when they do, you say, okay, you kind of, and then you want to tell you, hey, I want you to be tough, but don't be so tough that,
Right.
now it becomes this, I'm going to show you and I'm not going to do it. You get that too. And 31 years of coaching, I've seen a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But that you're what coaches want. I want parents to tell them, hey, guess what? Everything don't work out every time. It sometimes is tough. You have to beat people out. You have to compete to get your job. So competing means being on time to training table, being on time to study hall, being on time to class, being on time to meetings, being on time to practice. All of it, because football players now, they'll get into this. I'm going to do all my football. They'll do all their football, right? And then, because if you don't go to class, I won't pay you. I won't play you. When I was full-time coach, hey, if they came back to me, I don't care. I had an all-conference defensive end at Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
He is a 3-point-something student, but he didn't go to class for a week.
Oh, wow.
So guess what?
You
You
didn't
don't
play.
play. Hey,
Well, it's like a job, though, coach.
That's exactly what I'm
It's like
doing.
a job. You don't show up for work for a week. You think they're gonna pay you? You think matter of fact, you still think you got your job?
Yeah, you may not have a job.
You may not have a job.
And that's what and that's what I think as a coach, and all these guys right now, they're getting into coaching because right now being a college coach is lucrative money-wise, right?
Right.
But I'm hoping these dudes understand you should be getting into coach because you can help somebody, whether they be black, white, or purple. You can help them. Your objective should be, how do I get better as a coach so that I can help this young man achieve his goal?
Right.
I mean, that's why I think I've been successful, and I got players like Sergio Phillips that when I got diagnosed with cancer, right? I couldn't get off the phone. I couldn't put the phone down because guys are checking on me, seeing if they gotta get, how fast can they get to Nashville.
Oh, wow.
That's why you should coach. I've reaped the benefits of being a coach, but the biggest benefit that I've reaped is the relationships. I was on the phone this morning with one of my linebackers from Oregon State, which is 30-some years ago. I was on the phone with him for an hour and a half this morning, just talking about just this COVID-19, and he happens to be a Trump supporter, and I happen to not be, and we discussed that, and, but that's why you should be getting in coaching, is that the relationships you build and the lives that you can help.
Wow.
Wow, that's it. I like how you said that because that's what me and my husband were actually talking to our kids about today. It's about actually last night. It's about relationship, and so during the COVID situation, my son's been training some high school kids until they find out what they're going to do for the NFL. And I'm like, build relationships, really help them because he didn't go first round draft. He went as a free agent. So I'm like, tell your story because
Right.
everybody doesn't go first round. We always talk about that. And so it's like, tell your journey and your story. Help these young people become successful. And even if they don't go first round, or even if they don't go, still teach them characters because you're going to need it. Whether you get a job, whatever you do in life, you're going to need it, And so like we were talking about, we did our show, Bench Warmers, and we were talking about that. And you have parents who do get upset. And it's like, no, because you're messing them up. They can't do that at a job because you're always competing for position, especially when you get in corporate America. Well, it doesn't matter, period. You can work at McDonald's and somebody wants your manager position. So you're always competing for a position. And if you're teaching your child to pout and pass out and have a fit because they're bent, then you're not going to teach them how to survive in the world.
Survive in the real world.
You're not.
I went through that with my kids. With my kids coming up, my son played when we were in Albuquerque. So I was a defensive coordinator there. So, people would see me in the community. And I really believe this coach, he just did not want to play him in the right position. And so I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to be that parent. But it got to a point I finally had to say something when my son got hurt. And I said, hey, this isn't where he's supposed to be. I made myself know. I didn't make a scene out at practice. I waited till I got him away from everybody, and I said, "Hey, look, man, this is what you have to do." Because and I make that point because there are situations as parents where you need to step in. When you have a bad coach who is sitting somebody down just to be spiteful, right. And I felt like this coach was being spiteful because of the position I held, and that he thought he should have held, he could hold, and I thought he was holding it against my son, so I said something to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you do have that going on. Yeah.
What did you say, Kawasaka?
Go ahead, Kawasaka.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So when do you know when they being spiteful? Like, since then it's not the parent.
I think as a parent, you really gotta be able to read your kid.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then as a parent, and your kids don't like this, but that's too bad. That's why they're kids. You have to do some investigating.
Yep.
One of the things I did is I got off work earlier and went and watched practice. I wanted to see this is what I do for a living. I want to see for myself. And you as a parent, you can see a couple of things. I don't care what sport your son or daughter is playing, but you can see if they're giving good effort and if they're being coached, if they're being taught, right? Somebody's teaching. You can get there, and if you assess from yourself from what's going on, then okay, wait a minute, coach ain't saying nothing. Like I've seen some really bad youth football coaches, and it just amazes me that all they do is yell. And so whenever I've had a chance to talk to that group, I tell them that volume, even though you have this people say that volume expresses confidence, well, that's not always true in coaching. Okay? That's right. When I talk loud, like you saw in the clips of me there, when I'm talking loud, I am talking about something that will help my players get better. Okay. When I was a young coach, I was talking loud and yelling loud just to be heard. Okay. Mm-hmm. And there's a big difference between that.
That's right.
Okay. All right. If I'm talking loud, it's because I'm making a point now. And coaches sometimes, these coaches that coach these youth teams and these coaches, and Texas is not as bad because Texas football, I got a lot of respect for Texas
Boy, y'all
high
Texas
school
football players. Okay, so I'm from Oklahoma, but these Texas football players is about it here, man. I'm telling you.
And so you get a better grade of coach. But I think you need to. Those are the things I would look for as a parent. You ask, how do you know? Hey, go out and make sure your son or child is giving great effort. Is trying to understand. Is being coachable,
Right.
and evaluate the people who are coaching your son. I would do that until, if I was a parent, I would do that all the way through college. I think that's part of the recruiting process. You need, as a parent, before you send your son to Oklahoma or Texas A&M, you need to evaluate the coaches, the head coach, his position coach, his who the academic people are going to be around him. Is this going to be really the experience? I think a lot of people get swept in and they say, "Oh man, Alabama's recruiting me." Well, Alabama might not be the best thing.
That's right. So
Okay.
on that note, can I ask you this question, since we're talking about that? Seen a situation when a high school kid is recruited to college by their position, whether it's wide receiver, whatever, and that coach leaves and go to another college. Should that athlete go with them? Because I have seen, no. Okay,
well, go ahead. No, what have you seen?
I guess the question I asked, because that when my son got recruited, his coach left. And so I saw the struggle, because the new coach came in, and the guys he recruited, he favored them, because me and my son had the conversation. And I said, okay, this is what you have to do. You have to still show up no matter what. You cannot have a sour face. You still be a team player. You tell them good job. I said, you still do your job. And every time you touch that field, you leave your mark. But I knew the fight, because the coach had his favorite that he would bring in, and they would start over my son. I know he had 2 injuries.
Where did your son play?
Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so he came back strong, and so with that being, I said, when you're on the sideline, you cheer everybody on. I said, I don't care who the guy is that started before you, you cheer him on. You still respect your coach. You still showed up. And because of it, he received 2 we did not know they were watching him. He received 2 honor awards, the highest you can get as a football player, the Don Key and the Prentice Scout Award for his character.
Yeah, for his character. And I guess that's what I'm always talking about building. I get it. When I was in college, my coach left. They got asked to leave.
Wow.
And so I was, my junior year, I was second team all Pac-10, it's Pac-12 now, Pac-10. I was leading tackler on the team. I was coming back from my senior year, and the new coaches came in. And I was third team on the first day of spring practice. Okay.
Wow.
And I called my mom. My high school coach, were the biggest influences on me at the time. And I said, "Hey, I'm getting ready. I'm going to transfer back to Northern. I'm getting out of here." I did. I said, "I'm getting out of here." And coach kind of heard me out, and but my mother said, "What you gonna quit now for?"
That's right. Okay.
She said, "You can't beat them." Basically, in her way, her East Texas way, she said, you can't beat nobody out. Them boys better than you.
Wow.
And so I think when a coach transfers, that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity. Like, your son took that as an opportunity. It was an opportunity for your son to grow. His character grew. His character was huge now.
It grew tremendously.
And that's how, at the time I didn't know it, but my character grew, because I just said, "Hey, I'm gonna do the best I can do," and then you never know who's watching. So I got elected captain. Okay, after about 5-6 practices, I was back to in my spot, because I just worked at it like your son did. I just worked at it. I didn't worry about no one else, and that's what happens to players. They say, "Okay, well, he left, and he's going to get his own quarterback." Okay. Well, coaches are human too. Okay. So quarterback, and it happens mostly with the quarterback position.
Yeah.
They say, well, new coaches coming in. Well, what if you say, hey, new coaches coming in, I got to learn the playbook, and I plan on being the starter, and I plan on competing with whoever they want to bring in here. I believe I can make things better. But players don't. We don't, because and I say that now because I've got a ton of experience, and I get it. Players don't get it, but as parents and as mentors and people who are in their lives, people got to do a better job of telling these kids, this generation, because right now everybody's transferring.
Yeah, they are. I've seen a lot of transfers. Haven't
you,
Aaron?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You look at the transfer portal, which we look at. You look in there, and there's quarterbacks because they're freshmen. All right, and then they sit down the first year. Then the second year, if they're not the guy, they start looking for somewhere to go. Mm-hmm. And now everybody says, well, is that the way we do it? No, it really isn't. I mean, how do you ever build a relationship?
And then you're not reliable. Because then you'll do it in a job. If they don't give you what you want, then you'll quit the job and you'll find another job. Right.
Here's the deal.
Right.
If you take a job as an accountant for a firm, and you're the head accountant, and then they bring an assistant accountant in, and you don't like it, and that assistant passes you up, whose fault is that?
It's your fault.
But they don't think that way.
No, because especially in sports, if they were trained to, it's easy to quit and move and maneuver and go to another team. Then they're going to do it all their life.
Like Bernie Mac used to say, we all got family, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a nephew he would have been the best player. He would have played in the NFL. Okay. But as soon as things got hard, he didn't want to do it. He's all American junior college player. I got him into junior college. I'm getting ready to sign him and take him to Oregon State with me, right? But things academically for him got too hard. That's too hard. I don't want to do that. So he didn't do it.
Well, they start. It's amazing, huh, Karen and Kawasaka? They start at a young age with the kids, the little league teams, right? The little moms get, and I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna try to keep it together. I'm gonna keep it together. But you get those moms who bring their kid, and I mean that kid is decked out with all the latest cleats, the latest arm. I mean, little Johnny is the man. And the minute the coach deals with little Johnny's attitude, right? Mom's like, I'm out. We're going to another team.
On another team.
You're going to mess little Johnny up, because then when he gets to high school and college and he brings it and the coach check him, what you going to do? Take him out of high school and move him to another high school, which some of them do. But I've seen it start at a young age. Their mom, and it's a lot of moms that are younger and single. Right. And I mean, and they put this pressure that their little Johnny's going to take them to the league and buy them the house and the cars and the lifestyle. So if you don't play little Johnny, we're gone. It's like, wait, little Johnny got an attitude. He's telling you off. And the coach see it, right? I've seen them like tell their own mom off, right? The coach see it. The coach is trying to discipline him. And then you get bad.
I disciplined.
I don't know where Shannon you came from, but baby, the coaches didn't play, the parents didn't play. We didn't play none of that. I just thank God for
I've seen it.
Shout out to Coach
I see it. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sturm. If y'all ever watch this Pleasant Grove Falcons, I just gotta stand up for y'all, baby, because I let them, discipline whatever they had to do for mine, like from 4 all the way till they left Little League. Like we just stayed in our place. Parents stayed in their place. The coaches stayed in their place. And the crazy part, Coach Trent, he screamed, but he like Coach said, he screamed with a purpose. Basically, I don't know what. Listen, this.
Coach, but you know what I'm talking about, right, Coach?
Yep.
Old school.
Seen it.
We did.
But see, those old schools that you talking about, them also the same cats you watching on Sunday. Those guys playing in the NFL because of parents like you that said, hey, you better listen to the coach.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm
But
saying.
but, I'm,
Like,
but, I'm,
Right.
what we're saying is there's less and less of you.
There's less and less. You don't see it as much, and
No.
it's kind of like, even though it's funny because my son, we were like, okay, you're gonna go first round draft. We had this vision, so but I always had a backup plan. Okay, if you don't, then what's the next step? So anyway,
Right.
he went free agent and he still made it to the NFL. And I see the fight to make a team, because now that's a whole nother level, right? Because it's political, and if you don't have enough film and enough numbers, but
Right.
I still see him work his heart. And even he's played for like 3 or 4 different teams. And even when he would leave, the coach would say, "You are the hardest worker. We want to keep you, but it's political. You didn't have enough numbers from when you played at OU," which he tried to, but he dealt with the overlooking. But I believe the thing that has kept him, one, is prayer, two, his character, because it's still the same all the way through from high school to college. And so that's the thing that I feel somehow we have to grab these kids at a young age, at least
That's
7th grade, start in a program or something, because that's where it starts, because, from 7th back, that's daddy ball, Karen. Daddy ball, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you hit 7th grade is when you get the coaches.
Yeah.
And now they're like, so where your son was the man from 2nd grade to 6th grade, now he's here. He's not the man. He doesn't know how to handle it. The
Right.
mom doesn't know how to handle it. And some dads don't know how to
Know how to
handle it.
handle it. No.
But
And
the coach, the attitude. But they're trying to fix it because they know he's really good. But they're trying to, like, let me help adjust this attitude, because if we don't, he's gonna destroy himself later in life.
yeah.
But
And
parents get mad
part
about
of-
it.
Yeah, parents get mad, and part of that for the players is they look at okay, for example, what was the deal just on about Michael Jordan, The Last Dance?
Yeah.
All they see, this generation coming up, all they see is the final deal. They don't see when mama was, getting them up, driving them here,
That's right.
sitting in the stands on a rainy day, letting you, play. They don't see all that, and so I think they're missing the gratitude part of it. They don't have the gratitude, okay, towards the coaches to
That's
say,
right.
all right, I appreciate what he did, so I'm gonna play hard for him, okay. And that's kind of, and that's what and that's what I try to do. I try to build that, and and now in my current role, I miss that, because I don't know if you guys know it. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2017.
Yeah, we were going to get to that. We wanted to talk about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was coaching here at Vanderbilt, and I got the stomach flu. Everybody got it on the team. And so I thought it was like everybody else had the stomach flu. So I was throwing up, and I was leading the defense then. And so we were having a defensive meeting on a Thursday before we played Ole Miss. And I'm sweating. So I finally said, "Hey guys, I see you on the field. I'll meet you out there." So I went back down in the locker room, and I was throwing up. And one of my graduate, the young brother that worked for me, Javon, he ran up and got Coach Mason, and he said, "Hey, he won't stop throwing." So Mason said, "Go home." So we get around. I said, "Man, I can't go home." He said, "No, go home." So that's what working for somebody and that cares about you and you care about. So I made it home somehow, and I looked bad. I must have looked bad, because when I walked in the house, my wife, she said, "Go lay down." And so I laid down for a little bit, and I got up, and then she came and looked at me. She said, "You know what? We're going to the doctor." So I went to the doctor, and they gave me some IV and fluid, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna do your labs." All right. So I did my labs, and everything was out of whack, and everything was not right. So they said, "Can you come back in 8 or 9 days when you feel better?" And so I got over the stomach flu, came back, they did it, and my liver enzymes were out of whack. They weren't right. So they said they wanted to do something else. They took another test, and then they did that, and then they wanted to do another test, and they wanted me to take this picture. Well, we made a bowl game. I left for the bowl game, and I didn't get the last set of pictures. So they came back. I took the last set of pictures, and they said, you have a growth on your liver. So I have cholangiocarcinoma cancer. I have the same cancer that Walter Payton had. Okay? It's on I have a tumor in the middle of my liver, right at my bile duct. Okay, so they can't, like usually with the liver, they lop off one side and you keep on rolling. But mine's in the middle, so they can't get it out. So I did 18 chemo infusions and 34 radiations. Okay, and it slowed it down. So for about 8-9 months, a year, nothing was happening, and then it came back in the liver. It shrunk. It slowed down. It came back, and they started chemo, and the same chemo didn't work again. And then they started another one, and it was working. But then, because I'm pretty healthy, I try to keep myself in shape, and that's paid off. They had a new procedure this last 6 weeks ago. I underwent a procedure. They went it through my femoral artery to the tumor. Okay, and the tumor also has 2 lesions on it, and they found the main blood. It's called a chemoembolization, and they went through in there and they shot it with chemo directly.
Wow.
And then they blocked off the blood vessel, the blood supply to it. So now my cancer levels are normal. So because it's not getting it. So, it's been quite the journey. I mean, and a lot of things have happened. I hadn't been able to coach it. I'm still around the players, but I don't coach as much. And I tell people all the time, faith, right?
Yeah.
Right? Faith and fight.
Faith and fight. I like that.
Because my whole attitude about this whole thing has been hey, if you see me fighting a bear, don't worry about me. The bear getting ready to die.
Man, you better say that.
So that's how I've attacked it. That's how my kids and my wife, that's how we've attacked it. We've had a ton of setbacks, and one of the things I say, hey, setbacks into comebacks, right? And they say, hey, this, because we can't, do this and this might happen to you. Hey, I was raised in the Baptist church. Okay, I'm still in the Baptist church, and I really believe God has a plan for me.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
And if He was gonna take me, he'd have done it when I was out there trying to be a gangbanger when I was 11 or 12 years old.
Wait, Coach, did you say you was trying to be a gangbanger?
Oh yeah, I thought
I would have never guessed that for nothing in the world.
Oh, I thought I was gonna be a gangster. Yeah.
I did too, Coach.
Hey,
did too.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you why our people, little older people, why we don't get caught up in all that stuff. You know what? You know what stops all that?
What?
Whoopings.
Whoopings.
Oh, I hope my husband ain't watching this show.
Hey, you catch a.
He will say it in a minute. He said, "Let me tell you something." His story is so funny because he said his mama would line them up and whoop them before they go to church. And so he's like, "Why are you doing that?" She said, "Because I know you're gonna act up, so I'm gonna catch you now."
Hey,
you don't act up in church at all. He said, "Baby, mama will whoop us. We ain't even out the door. Pop, 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 pop." And he would be like, "Why are you whooping us? Because I know you're gonna act up, so I'm gonna catch you before you act up." Do you know? He said even his brother to this day will sit still in church and won't even move.
You think I chew gum in church?
No, you probably don't.
You bet you. Hey, I
know my grandma used to do that. She was bad
my mother, we would get. I got a whooping because I was bad when I was a kid. If you ever met my sisters, they'd tell you I was bad. So I got a whooping. I got kicked out of elementary 15 times before I got through the 6th grade. I got asked they sent me home. And then they figured out, hey, he might have some behavioral problems. And my mother said, no, he don't have no behavioral problems. She said, I'm straightening it out. And by the 8th grade, I was straightened out. Because I'd say, man, I'm tired of getting whoopings. She would make you go get a pomegranate. We had a pomegranate tree.
That's what I was gonna say. You remember?
So you had to go get the switch.
I had to go get the switch. But that's how stupid. But that's how stupid you are when you're young and you think, hey, you out when you ain't supposed to be out. You don't talk back to the teacher. You don't try to ditch school, and you ain't got nowhere to go but to that house, and you don't get a whooping.
Scared to go in the house.
But I'm gonna tell you something. After a while, you start saying, "Hey, man." Like cats would come up to me in high school and say, "Hey, man, we finna go over here and smoke this reefer and to do this." And I say, "Hey, man, I'm not taking another beer."
You know, Mama was gonna find out.
Yeah, I knew she was gonna find out, and I just say, "Hey, I'm good, man. I'm sticking with." And then she had given my high school coach permission to do whatever he wanted to do.
And yeah, back then you could, because now you
can't look at your kids the wrong way.
My husband said his mama got a job as a hall monitor.
Oh,
that's sad.
I said, "Oh, dang, your mom was just as bad as mine." I remember I went out one night. I thought I was grown. I think I was about 17, 16, 17. And I came home late. And where our house was, right? There's the front door, and then by the door is the bathroom window, so you can open it. So I'm out there. It's 2 a.m. I'm scared now because it's late. I'm knocking. I tried to get in. She put all the locks on the door. You know, back in the day, mamas had all the locks, right? She opened the door. She opened that window. She go, "What you want?" I said, "Mama, let me in. I'm scared." She said, "You didn't think about it when I told you to be home by 12 and it's 2 o'clock."
Right.
I was like, "Mama, let me in."
That's crazy.
Girl, she must have slammed it, and I was standing outside. I was so scared, y'all. I tell you what, I never came in the house late again.
Yeah, I remember taking my mama's car at 15. Ooh.
You took the car?
Yes, I wanted to drive early. I had somewhere to go. I don't know where, but I had somewhere to go. And when I came back, I was on that floor. I said, "Dang, you about to slam me."
Yeah. No, my mother used to. She would. She raised all them kids by herself, and she had no problem. The closest thing to her, you might get hit with. So, but no, let me get back. I'm sorry, I got off course. So now I'm the special assistant to the head coach, and I'm cancer free. Right now. There's no cancer in my body. They can't operate. They can't remove the tumor.
Amen.
But as right now, my cancer numbers are good, and we're trying to get back to work. But with this pandemic, I tell people, all these people tell me, "Oh, it's just like the flu." I'm telling you, I'm staying in this house. I'm not letting the flu knock me down.
Oh,
so and that's especially you fighting something that nobody knows nothing about right now.
Yeah.
So right now, that's kind of where I'm at with it, and I'm with
coach. You're assistant to the head coach. So are you the one sitting up in the what is it? What is it, Karen?
Yeah, the press box.
Press box, yes.
Some get like last year. They gave me this drug last year, and it dropped my sodium, and I wound up in the hospital. Right. So, but I got healthy enough for the first game, but I'm usually on the sideline now. But Mace made me go up there. But when I was the defensive coordinator, I was always up in the box. I stayed upstairs. But now NCAA's got so many rules about who can be in the press box, how many people can be there. So now I'm on the sideline.
Oh, you're on the sideline.
Yeah.
So with this COVID, how do you think things are going to turn out right now for college ball? When do they see themselves come? Because we usually ask this question with all of our guests that are coaches or athletes.
My hope is that I think if we'd have quarantined a little bit longer, okay, we'd have better answers. But since we're jumping out of there, I'm hoping that like here at Vanderbilt, they said the SEC said we can go back in June. We can start returning back June 8th. Well, we're going to bring kids back in flights. In fact, I was on a Zoom with Derek this afternoon. We're going to bring the kids back in flights. All right, we're not going to bring the whole team back on June 8th. We're just going to bring them back in flights. And right now, the NCAA is planning on us playing regular games. I think, and I don't know. This isn't anything official. I would think that they're going to keep the stadiums empty or half empty, okay? Because it makes no sense if the virus travels person to person to put our stadium holds 45,000. It makes no sense to put 45,000 people shoulder to shoulder, plus the players, plus the people the game management people. So I think the crowds and I've heard that the crowds are going to be limited. Okay. Another thing I heard a while back, and is that if they can't control it, is they may have an abbreviated season where you just play conference games. Okay. But I think the plan that they're talking about is I think we're going to bring them back in June and let them go to summer school, let them train, and then in August, I think as they get more information about the virus, we'll get more information about what we'll do. But I think it's crazy, when you sit there and you watch the president and other people try to say, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. No, you're going to do what the virus says. And you know who's controlling the virus, right? God. So you're going to do what he says. So we're going to do what the virus tells us. And at the end of all this, everybody's got all these solutions and questions. Hey, I think the best course of action is the one they're taking now. Okay, bring them back, be cautious, take temperatures, let them in the building, let them go to they're going to summer school online. And then in August, we go to camp. But by August, we'll have a lot more answers. Right? And that's where I think everybody's missing the boat and all these, and I get it. The economy has to do this and all people, unemployment and those type of things. I get it, but it won't make no difference if you're not here.
Right.
And then everybody keeps talking about, well, we got to do this because we got to get the economy going. Yes, we got to get the economy going, but let's only get it going with things like this, right? I ain't affecting you guys, right? Talking loud and stuff. I think we can live with that. And then the things that we can open, let's open them. But college football, I think, is gonna move cautiously and slowly towards a regular start of the season. All right, because they don't what they don't want to do. The one thing they don't want to do is start and then have to stop again.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I don't know on the high school level. I hope they're taking the same precautions, but it just seems like all the conferences in the NCAA are being really cautious. Okay, we're going to try to move this thing as normal as we can, and fix the things that we have to that no longer work. With dealing with this virus, it's scary.
Yeah, Karen, you got a question?
No, I just appreciate your wisdom. I mean, you've been a player, you've been a coach. If I had one more question to ask you is, you see kids that are constantly trying to make the NFL, and at what point would you advise them to say, hey, maybe I should have a backup plan?
I think they should have a backup plan while they're in college and graduate.
High school.
In high school, even high school.
I say high school, yeah.
But here's the deal. I had a lot of good counseling. I had when I was done playing, I had my degree. And I don't know who told me this, but after my first year, I didn't get drafted. I didn't get all this stuff. I gave myself 6 years from the time I was done with college football to make it, and then I'm gonna get along with my life. 6 years to make it in the NFL. Okay, because then I got done. I was 21, so I'd be like 26, 27, and just get on with my life. And then that's the advice I would give someone like your son, Shan. He's played, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he'll come to this realization himself.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get to about 27, 28 years old, and his body just won't do it, and he'll go. But I think a guy should, if you're a good enough player, all conference, have a good pro day, I think you should give yourself 6 years from the time you finish college football to make it in the NFL. And everybody says, well, why 6? Why 6? Well, because my deal is shown. All right, when I came out, right before I came out in 1985, it was the USFL. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember. You guys are old enough to remember that. And so they had stolen like Steve Young, Reggie White. They had all these good players, and Donald Trump owned the New Jersey team, and so they sued the NFL. So everybody thought they'd have a chance in that deal. So as you come out, from the time you're done, you don't know in 6 years that there might be another league, right?
Yeah.
Somebody might buy the XFL, because I think the XFL was a good idea.
It was a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think what they have to do with the XFL is move it into with the season with football. And now listen to me. When I tell people this, they go, move it and don't put it in competition. Start the season in middle of September. Play 8 games, okay? Because in November, when the NFL still has 5 or 6 games left, they're looking for players all the time.
All the time.
So now,
right.
and the only reason I know this will work is when I coached in the UFL, we did this model. We played within the season, and of our 53-man roster, we had 28 players signed with the NFL at the end of our season.
That's right.
Because we played within their season, and what it is NFL, they have to go sign guys on the street because they can't hold a bunch of guys like colleges do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times the NFL has to rely on make sure that guy's been working out, he's been doing that. Well,
that's right.
If you have a league like the XFL playing within the same season, but only playing 8 games, right? And then when the NFL needs players, which is usually November, December.
That's right.
Playoff. Now you can go get them.
Because I started calling because I saw that's how Jordan got on a couple teams with the 49ers.
Right. They called him.
It was 2 games
October and November
before it was over, and they called him. Yeah.
Hey, I promise you, he liked them 2 checks.
Yeah, he sure did.
Because it starts to become, as a pro football player, it becomes about one thing because there's a lot of money out there. Right.
Right.
And if your body can make you that kind of money, I think you give yourself 6 years to do it. Because after 6, the reason I say 6 years, because now you'll head into your 30s, and they'll start saying you're old. And
it all depends on the position.
Right, the position.
Right? So I mean, like a kicker, you can stay there for a while. I mean, because all you do is come out, kick, and so you're pretty safe. It all depends on the position, but running backs, safeties, wide receivers, their time is short. So yeah, and your body goes through so much, especially being hit a lot and tackled a lot. So yeah. So Kwasika, you have a question?
Okay. Muted herself. There you go. You had a question?
You have a question, hon?
I did, and I forgot. But no.
Hey, you ain't that old.
Okay, so you think that so the NCAA will bring the football back for the college, but you were saying that as far as the fans goes, it will be limited, right?
That's what I see. Yeah, I see it being limited.
Right.
Yeah, because I heard it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard it.
I've heard it being
I'm wondering. I'm wondering how they're gonna make that. How would they make that plan out? You got so many people. You got the students. They're gonna want to go to the games. You got the moms and the dads. I'm
So
being that thing.
I think you know what? I think when it comes to the parents, they'll probably at least will let the parents go. So I was talking to my sister because she works in
I
LA.
think what they'll do is right now they get an allotment of tickets each player. Sharon, you know this from your son playing.
Mhm.
How many tickets do they get now? 6 or 4?
So in the NFL, it's 4. College, it was hold on,
4 was it 6?
6, I think, in college. I
I
think.
think that number gets slashed to 2, and then I think that the school will sell. If they got 100,000 seat stadium, I think they'll sell 30,000 seats, and then they'll.
But they're gonna put them apart. So
But
when
they
I was
don't-
talking to
yeah,
my sister in
that's-
LA, she was telling me because she has some friends that they were help building that new stadium. So how they were considering or doing it was like you'll have, it's like if it's me and my husband, and then they'll do 6 empty seats, and then the next guest, and
Right.
then 6 empty seats. So her working in the bank was basically saying financially it's not going to make any sense. It's really not going to make any sense because you're going to have more overhead financially, and it's not gonna balance out where you have a stadium full. It kind of covers that overhead, but is it going to be worth it having separating the seats and then the concession stand? So now you got to have somebody up there watching, making sure everybody's standing 6 feet apart at the concession stand. And so she said it'll be interesting how they do it, but yeah, they're going to limit who goes in the stadium to watch the games, is what they're saying. So
and that's all they can do. I mean, other than not play the games. Now, if the second wave hit or something, then they might not play. But I really don't see them not playing. If they can play, even if they can play the empty stadiums, they're going to play. I mean,
they're gonna play. It's just gonna be, when you make that touchdown and you used to the crowd yelling and you doing your dance, your whoa. It's like, who gonna be there to see you? Who gonna be there to see you do your whoa, right?
Yep.
I did see guys where Dallas, when it comes to the COVID-19, the numbers done went down for Dallas.
That's good.
In depth. Yeah, in depth.
Mhm.
Like, I seen that the other day. Like, it done went, well, I think for May, it didn't go up, as most other states did. So that's, not saying whatever, but that's good because I'm in Dallas.
Yeah. That's good because I'm in Dallas. So, all right, Coach Lewis, this has been a great show. We have, the information, just the heartfelt, what you shared. We are praying that God will continue to do healing in your body.
Thank you.
So you can continue to coach because these young men need that. The parents need to hear the truth, and like you said to the parents out there, look, y'all, stop going after these coaches like that. We said it on our show.
Yep.
First, just ask your child. Be honest, and then at the same time, your child.
Right, and you know you. And I give parents good enough. I'm sorry.
Like that.
Huh?
We need to have a parent that y'all talking about to come on the show that's like that, so we can know their mindset and where.
And that's the whole thing. That's what everybody's missing is that everybody's doing this instead of doing this is listening and then listening back.
Right.
That's the biggest thing we don't do. And I drive my brothers crazy because they'll get going and I just listen to them. Yeah. And then I say, okay, here's why I'm making this decision. Here's why I'm doing that. And then I think it's just a listening. You got to open these up. For as much stuff as is out there, the information that's out there, we don't take advantage of it. Ladies, thank you for having me. Yes, this is so much fun. Hey, and people don't understand this when you're fighting something like cancer. It's therapeutic to talk about it with people who are positive about it. And I appreciate your positivity that you gave me. All right.
And Coach, we appreciate it. We really do.
And know that, hey, if Coach Lewis is fighting a bear, you ain't got to worry about Coach Lewis.
That's right.
I like that. And I like what you said, faith and fight. So listen, anybody that's going through something, pass this show around because Coach Lewis had the most positive attitude.
Yeah.
You would have never known he was going through what he was going through if he didn't tell you. And the fact that he's going through it and he's got the faith in the fight and he's going to keep fighting.
Right.
That's especially during the COVID. He
Oh,
could be down and about and whoa, it's me, but he's not. He realized I've got to fight. I've got a family that needs me, and I got some guys that I'm coaching that needs me.
Yeah.
And so he's got his faith and he's got his fight. So
Yeah.
listen, if you didn't learn anything else,
That's it.
faith and your fight.
That's what
Right.
gets you through. Yep.
Gonna get you through. So this is your girl Shannon at Can We Talk Sports. I'm here with my host.
Karen.
And-
with the Nutriverse.
Kawasako with the
Kawasaka with
Nutriverse.
the Nutriverse.
There you go.
All right, you guys have a great weekend coming up, and we will see you Sunday. Bye.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.